One Voice, a division of Full Cast Audio, presents Rich, a Diamond Daniel book, written and performed by Nikki Grimes.
One. Rich. Diamond and Free stood in front of a store window. "I hate being poor," said Free. "Ever since my dad lost his job, all my mom seems to say is, 'We can't afford this, we can't afford that.'" Diamond Danny would not trade Free for anything. He was her best friend, wasn't he? But that boy had a lot to learn. "First off," said Diamond, "I've seen you buy lots of things, and second, you are not poor." "Then how come I can't buy that new video game?" "My mom says everybody wants something they can't have," said Diamond. "That doesn't make you poor." "Well, what do you call it then?" "Not having money right now," said Diamond. "Same thing," grumbled Free. "No, it isn't," said Diamond. "Poor is—" Diamond thought for a moment. "Poor is having no clothes and no food and no place to live and nobody who cares." "I guess," said Free, "but I still wish I could get that new video game." "Well then," said Diamond, "you'd better get to school so you can graduate, so you can get a job, so you can buy your own video game." "Forget it then," said Free. Diamond punched him in the arm. "You call that a punch? You punch like a girl," said Free. Diamond pulled her arm back and punched him for real this time. "Ouch! I was just kidding." "Come on then," said Diamond, "and hurry. Mrs. Cordell said she'd have a surprise for us today." 2. Surprise. "Attention, class," said Mrs. Cordell. "I have an announcement." "Great," thought Diamond. "Here it comes." "First, how many of you like contests?" Everybody's hand went up except for Diamond's. She wanted to wait and see what this was all about first. "Well, the local library is sponsoring a poetry contest," said Mrs. Cordell. Tamika groaned. So did Charlie. But then Charlie groaned about everything. Mrs. Cordell ignored the groaning. "The top 3 poems will be published on the kids' page of the Sunday newspaper." "Ooh," said one kid. "I could be famous," said a second kid. "You wish," said a third. "And the winner," said Mrs. Cordell, "will receive a check for $100. "Oh, snap," said Free. Diamond did not even have to look at Free to know that his eyes were bugging out. She could just see him with imaginary dollar signs and little video games floating in front of him. "Now, who would like an entry form?" asked the teacher. Free's hand shot up higher than anyone else's. Diamond didn't raise hers. She decided to wait for math contests. That's what she was best at. But she was curious to know who was trying out for the contest. Diamond looked around the room and saw lots of hands. One of them belonged to a quiet girl named Damaris Dancer. Damaris was a pretty girl, really tall, with skin like dark chocolate mixed with strawberries. Her reddish-brown hair hung in heavy twists that made Diamond think of a lion's mane. Damaris raised her hand a little higher, just in case Mrs. Cordell hadn't noticed her. "That's strange," thought Diamond. "She never raises her hand for anything. I wonder—" "Psst," said Charlie from the seat next to Diamond. Diamond turned to him, annoyed. "Don't psst me," thought Diamond. She would have said as much out loud if Charlie hadn't distracted her by pressing a note in her hand. Diamond unfolded the torn loose-leaf page and read, "I'm a poet and I know it, and now I got the chance to show it. Free." "Oh, please," thought Diamond, shaking her head. Then she wrote something on the bottom of the page and sent it back. "Can't wait for lunch. Hope we have punch. Diamond." Free laughed and Charlie asked, "What's it say?" Loud. "Is there something you boys would like to share with the class?" asked Mrs. Cordell. "No," said Free. "Sorry." Diamond bowed her head to hide her smile.